So let's take a second and look at the exemplar. I felt like the best way to look at the exemplar was kind of like to mark it up and to see what's in the exemplar and if anything's missing based on like this structure and what the task and the standard are demanding.
Yeah.
So like a couple of different lenses, like what's the structure demanding, what's the task demanding, and what's the standard demanding.
Yeah.
And let's see if there are any gaps in the exemplar.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so what did you notice?
So, because I remember when I was, so how I wrote this, I remember when I was writing this, is Engage gave a paragraph that just used, and I edited Engage's paragraph, and I noticed that this goes along with this topic detail explain, like the details that they wanted to go through, but I feel like it doesn't do, it feels more like a summary of just events as opposed to an analysis of what happens.
Okay, so what specifically is lacking from this exemplar? Let's go sentence by sentence. The first one is the
Topic.
right, and then they have a
Detail.
then another detail, then another detail, then another detail, and then according to like this graphic organizer, the last sentence would be a
Conclusion. What can you infer about?
So what are they missing? What's this exemplar missing?
So it seems like explains.
Yeah.
So, yes. So I guess I'm confused because maybe this is why I didn't like this. This is how Engage wanted me to explain it.
I think we've definitely identified that the exemplars
Okay.
and Engage are not always like. I think it's
Great.
up to us as the teachers to like be like, nope,
Okay.
this is not the best exemplar.
Okay.
Let's rework it.
Okay.
So that's just something to know for the future. That like if the exemplar and Engage isn't what it needs to be, then change it.
Right.
So what's this exemplar lacking?
And explain for the details.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's got a lot of details. It doesn't have a lot of analysis. It doesn't have a lot of explain. So just what's our takeaway there?
That I need to ignore Engage's. Not ignore. Potentially change Engage's exemplars.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right.
how would... No, we can talk about that later. So we can
What?
keep
No,
moving.
what?
So like how would... So like how would you want me to explain this detail? Because again, I need to ignore Engage, but like Engage's, I guess I did change it, but it says like, why is this detail important? How does it connect to the next detail? And it seems like this is the connection between the details. Like, because this isn't, no, never mind. I changed my mind about that.
So let's talk about it. What analysis would you want to see there? What explanation would you want to see?
What happens for mother?
Nope.
Escape.
Sit down, please.
So it seems like I would want them to then like talk about how this is the first time Esperanza has lost anything, has ever had any like big struggles in her life.
And how would you connect it to the topic sentence or to what they're arguing?
See, because their topic sentence isn't them arguing.
How would you do it?
Okay.
We've identified that
Okay.
engage is not what you would want to do,
Yes.
right? But like knowing that you've got to own the writing and you've got to.
Okay. So I'm
be the
allowed
one.
to do that.
Yes.
I'm allowed not to have fidelity to the.
Yeah, we've talked
text
about
of
the
what-
exemplars not always like that's why we
Okay.
met with Liz.
Because then it's gonna be then it's like this. Then I wouldn't follow this either. So I'm allowed to change all of this business.
Well, I don't think you'd be changing this framework.
Because it's just like
state the key
topic.
event or challenge Esperanza faces. I mean, yeah. So maybe you add to that and how she responds.
Okay, so I can. Okay.
I trust you to make the best decisions in
Okay.
terms of like this is not meeting the demands of the task.
Okay.
So
Because then I feel much more comfortable.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean meet the demands of the task.
Okay.
All right, so let's continue.
Okay.
How are you going to get this exemplar to the place where it's meeting the demands of the task?
So I would have them in their topic sentence state both the challenge and her response,
Yep.
and then them work through like the first detail of the challenge, analyze why that's a big deal. Her response, analyze what her response is, tell us her response, tell us about her character.
Yes.
Would be that conclusion.
How many details did you just have?
2.
Okay. Yep.
The first detail was just about the event, and the second detail is about her response to the event.
I feel like the event needs to go. Oh, I see. So you're still putting the event in the topic sentence, but now
Yeah.
you're going to have a detail that demonstrates what the event was.
Yes.
Understood. Yep.
Okay.
I would agree. Okay, so let's clearly bullet what the exemplar lacks.
Okay. So it lacks explanations.
It lacks explanations, and it lacks. What about the topic sentence?
The response to the challenge, which is what their paragraph is supposed to be. Not what the paragraph's supposed to be about. It's what the task is supposed to be about.
In the paragraph, because paragraph 1 says.
It says nothing about the response. Paragraph 1 talks about just the event. So then I'd be
But
changing.
I'm wondering if when they wrote about it originally, they were supposed to write about their response. Her response.
They were, but like, if they were given this as
Mm-hmm.
like without, if like this was just a task.
Give me 1 second.